Hey everybody, Austin back again, continuing this 2014 Sega Master System Let's Play Marathon. And today, as you can see, we've got Gangster Town. Now, Gangster Town is a light gun shooter, so this is going to be an interesting video. You're not going to really hear me, sorry, let me rephrase that. You're not going to really see anything happening on screen other than enemies dropping dead. Because, yeah, you're not going to see me moving the character around or shooting projectiles or something. So I don't know how entertaining this is going to be, but I'd like to preface this with Gangster Town was actually probably one of my favorite Master System games growing up as a kid. And now granted, I only had a set of neighbors that had a Master System for a short period of time, a couple of years when I knew them in the mid to late 80s. And once they sold it, that was the last time I played Master System until the mid to late 90s when I finally got a console of my own through thrifting and things like that. So, yeah, but man, when I did have access to a Master System when I was very, very young through my neighbors, one of the most played games was Gangster Town. And I think the reason for that was that, for one, it was really fun. Two, it was two players at the same time. Three, you could enter names in and stuff like that. And four, it was challenging. It was not an easy game, and I don't think we ever beat it on our own. And I know I never beat it on my own until just recently. Actually, a few weeks back, I finally beat this game for my first time. And once I finally figured out what to do in the final boss, which I'll explain on towards the end. But yeah, let's go ahead and just pull the trigger, just like that. We're using the good old Sega Master System light phaser. And the light phaser, in my opinion, is one of the best console light guns of the sort of retro consoles. It's easily one of the best up until Sega's own stunner gun for the Sega Saturn, as well as Namco's gun cons for the PS1, PS2, and so forth. But the light phaser is awesome, and if you have a Master System, you really have to buy this gun. Or even if you just have a Genesis but you have a flash cart or you have a power-based converter, buy the light phaser because it's not that expensive, and the Master System has a lot of really good light gun games. In my opinion, it was the best light gun system up until the PlayStation and Saturn. Simple as that. I mean, there really was nothing like it before or after until the PlayStation and Saturn. The Super Nintendo and Genesis, their light guns weren't that great. I mean, they were cool, but they were kind of bulky, and they didn't have that many games that supported them. But there's a lot of Master System light gun games, and most of them are pretty good, which you'll see through the rest of this marathon. Let's go ahead and enter our name. One of the things that's great about the Master System light phaser is that it's very accurate. And once you play a game like Gangster Town, you'll see what I mean by that exactly. So, Gangster Town, we basically start off with this practice round, and as long as you get your accuracy up, this sort of determines how much life you start off with at the very beginning of the game. So it's really imperative to get solid accuracy. So it looks like, okay. On the left-hand side of the screen here, it sort of has goals for you to reach, and on the right-hand side of the screen, it actually tells you what you've actually reached. Now, I've actually surpassed all of the goals, and when you do that, it actually boosts you up a level. And not really a level, it's not like a difficulty thing or anything like that. It's actually, a level stands for how many hearts you have. And that's basically how many hits you can take before you die. And in Gangster Town, there are no game overs, so it's really helpful to have as many hearts as you can. Now, in Gangster Town, you can get all the way up to level 10, which means you can have 10 hearts in your inventory, essentially, up at the top of the screen. And so, when you have 10 hearts, that means your life meter is at its greatest. And if you perform poorly, you actually go down a level, and the lowest level is 5, which means I'm technically 1 heart higher than the default in the game, essentially. And you can't go any lower than 5 hearts. Although that would have been kind of interesting if you could. So it looks like I aced everything again. I got more than 8,000 points. I got more than 70% hit ratio and more than 25 hits. And so I'll play at level 7, which basically means I'll have 7 hearts now. So one of the great things about Gangster Town, and This was sort of brought back in a way in like Virtua Cop. Maybe not in the same way, but in light gun shooters prior to Gangster Town, there usually it was one hit to kill an enemy or a couple hits to kill an enemy, but they wouldn't like I don't know how to explain it. In like Virtua Cop, you would attack enemies and they would like sort of get hit and fall back, and in some cases you could hit them multiple times and they would react to every gunshot. In a lot of light gun games in the past, that wasn't the case, but in Virtua Cop you could get your accuracy up by hitting the enemy an extra time or two. And Gangster Town, I think, was one of the earliest light gun shooters where you could really do that. I mean, I can't think of too many. If you know of any, definitely post some comments below, let me know. But one of the great things about Gangster Town is the fact that every time you kill a gangster, a little angel comes up. And like in Virtua Cop, that allows you to boost your accuracy by getting an extra hit. So the goal in this game is to destroy the gangsters and then shoot their angels as well. For one, it boosts your hits and it boosts your hit ratio as long as you hit them without missing, obviously. So it's a really cool format, and it makes the game really, really fun. There's always a lot going on in this game, which is a lot more than can be said for most light gun shooters of this time period, aside from like Operation Wolf or something like that, which was a very chaotic light gun shooter, which is also probably why it was so popular. It was a really Operation Wolf was a great arcade light gun shooter, which also, funny enough, came out on Master System, I believe. I haven't played that version, but I did play it on the NES quite a bit. No, that was a solid version, but I don't recall it working too well with that system's light gun, though. I'd be willing to bet that Operation Wolf in the Master System actually plays pretty well with the light phaser, and I would definitely like to try that sometime. I'll definitely have to try it sometime, probably through a flash cart method, because I don't think I'll be tracking that cartridge down. But yeah. So, one of the biggest tips I can give to players playing Gangster Town is not really focus on the little angels and stuff right away. First priority is always to focus on your enemies that are ready to shoot at you. If you're going for the little angels and stuff right away, the guys are going to be open to shooting you. So the goal is to mow down the gangsters that can actually fire at you first. Now, it's not like some parts of Virtua Cop where they actually throw projectiles or grenades or something like that. You don't have that in Gangster Town. So the second an enemy starts shooting, no matter where he is on the screen, they can hit you no matter what. So it's really important to take them out before they start shooting. Just like this. So don't focus on the angels right away. Go for the gangsters first. You know. But the angels are there for more points. You've got this woman that goes across the playfield as well. If she makes it all the way across, you get some extra points, which is something to be aware of if you're playing for a high score. And that's one of the next fun things about this game, is once you beat it and you start getting better, you start trying to better your own high scores. It's like, how many of these guys can I take out while also taking the angels out? And how many of them can I destroy with the casino sign like that? That's always fun. Like many light gun shooters, it's really about prioritizing. Success is done through prioritizing your goals. And it looks like I met 2 of my goals there. You only have to meet 2 of the 3 goals in order to get your health boosted up. So I'm maxed out on health now at this point, which I might have been already by the previous level, but I don't recall. And this is the bonus stage. The goal is to find the key, just like so. And if you find the key, it'll raise your level as well. So again, your health. I think it raises your health. If not, it's bonus points, and bonus points are good if you're going for a high score. So we're already at the second to last level in this game, and so yeah, already at the second to last level in this game. We're already making good progress. I mean, you're gonna make good progress as long as you play well in Gangster Town. It's not a very long game at all. But Gangster Town, you know, it just has a lot of charm to it with the gangsters, where they always pop out of these like goofy places, like from the ceiling. It's like, how do you do that? You know, and their little angels pop up. You shoot their angels. Sometimes you can shoot their top hats off, which is funny. And there's a lot of destructible environments. You know, you can blow in a hole through the drum, the kick drum, and the snare. And you can also shoot the lights if you really want to. I don't really recommend going for all this stuff, but when you get better at the game, you can sort of goof around and go for all these objects that aren't really necessary. Just, you know, like in the bar scene, you can shoot down most of the bottles and so forth, and you can shoot the little mouse that goes across the screen. Looks like I'm still playing at level 10. It was supposed to downgrade me. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Oh, that sucks. I was goofing around on that last level, and that might punish me. We might be playing through this game a second time. It's basically, if you don't meet any of the goals, you don't get any health back. Or no, I think you get health back. You only get 1 heart back, which makes it really tough. If you meet 2 or 3 goals, you get all of your life back, which I totally forgot about that rule. It's gonna screw me over, screw me up. Oh, I did it. Oh, that was so close. Okay, that final boss, you actually have to make him appear by shooting holes in the side of that boat. And then he'll pop out of one of the holes. A lot of times he pops out of the very first one you shoot. Look at the gangsters swimming away. This is a much better ending than Alex Kidd or Fantasy Zone 2. This is a legitimate ending for a late 80s game. But yeah, you have to shoot the side of the boat and then the final boss appears. If you don't do that, endless swarms of enemies appear and appear and appear and appear, and your arm is going to get tired and you're not going to be able to keep up the fight. And that's basically what happened to me the first time I got there, or the second or third time I got there even. I didn't even know you were supposed to shoot the boat. I had to read the manual. I actually had to read the manual, and it tells you inside the manual that you have to shoot the boat in order to reveal the boss, which was funny. So, but yeah, this is Gangster Town, everyone. I know this is a short Let's Play, but really, really fun Master System game. It's one of my favorite Master System games. Some of the graphics are a little repetitive. You go through the same stages twice in some cases. The gangsters, they all look the same, but it's just got a lot of charm elsewhere. It's a well-produced game. Everything looks good. I mean, even right from the title screen with that animation with your FBI agents shooting the gangsters. Everything's just really solid about this game. It's just not that long. But if you have a Master System, or if you have a Genesis with a power-based converter, I highly recommend picking up a light phaser, as it's one of the best light guns out there, aside from Sega's Stunner and Namco's Gun-Con light guns. It's really is one of the best out there. It's very accurate. It's responsive. The trigger is responsive as well. It doesn't make any crazy clinking or noisy sounds like the NES light gun does. And again, the Master System has some great light gun games, like Gangster Town. And we will be playing some more light gun games throughout this marathon. I've got at least 3 more I think I have to show you. So, but stay tuned. I'll be back with some more Master System Let's Play videos for this marathon in the next day or so, or day or two. And so definitely stay tuned. Anyway, until then, guys, take it easy.